Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. And I'm not going to use Martin Tyler's tagline because number one, I don't want to get sued. And number two, let's move with the times. Hello, FPL War. We're back for week number 3. And I'll tell you what, after last week, I've already been licking my wounds and wondering, what am I going to do now? It's the end of the world. I'm in Barney rubble.
It's far from the end of the world, but what it is, and I was going to say it to you, was that FPL is not all roses every single week. You will have, I've had a 28-point week before. You will have weeks when you're in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and people are getting twice as many points as you get. That's what happens. You had a brilliant first week, you got gassed, and then you've come crashing back.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I got gassed because I thought that my standout players, like Bruno Fernandes, would have a good game at Southampton. He didn't. I thought Salah would score against Burnley. He did, but he got
robbed here because that was in like, if you've watched, we spoke about it a lot on the European review, which you can see on the which you can listen to on the Shoot the Defence Network.
Thank you. Good plug.
We spoke about offsides, and in Serie A this week, some of the goals that got given was like more borderline offside, especially in Roma's win over
Mkhitaryan's one, bloody hell.
Mkhitaryan's one was off, and Veretout first was off as well. Ironically, both assisted by Tammy Abraham. But then in the Udinese Juventus game, they disallowed Ronaldo's one that looked in line. But you know, it's bizarre. Even the first week of the Prem season, Fernandez's third goal against Leeds was offside, but they're trying to give the benefit. They're trying to give the advantage to the attackers now. But so yeah, that Salah one was a strange one, but it worked for me to an extent because I told you that last week I was going to make Jota my captain. I did it. He scored the first goal again, but because Alisson had to make a bag of saves at the end, Jota got no bonus points. But the main thing is for your captain to score, you know. So
yeah, and you're very happy after last week's results. Let me. I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. I'll bring up my one.
We want to know what was your score last week?
My score was 40 points. Terrible. And do you know what? If it was just above average, I'd have been happy. If it would have been just below average, I'd have accepted it. But 40 points.
To be honest, I think the lowest that you could possibly get and still be okay-ish is 45, depending on who's done what in the week.
I know, bro, but like I made the change before the deadline, and I wanted to take out Fabinho anyway because I didn't think he was going to play against Burnley because I think Burnley were going to be too physical for him. So I put in Dallas. Now Dallas.
Because Fabinho can mix it up, but then obviously he lost his dad, so that was why he didn't play. Otherwise, he would have started.
There you go. So, you know, I put in Dallas because I figured, well, he's done well for Leeds. Last season, he got a ridiculous amount of points, obviously because he was a defender. He was listed as the seventh defender, but he's going to play. He's going to play. But what I didn't take into consideration is that Leeds can't defend for shit. So he's not going to get extra points for clean sheets because they're not going to keep clean sheets.
But you know, the strange thing is that Leeds, last season, they kept a lot of clean sheets. But when they concede a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the problem that you had there. I knew that Leeds Everton would have... there was going to be goals in it, which is why. And luckily, my two Leeds guys, Rafinha assisted. So Rafinha scored the second rather, and Bamford assisted the first. But Bamford got booked, so he's got 1 or 2 more games to do something. Or I may have to let him go because in each price range or even cheaper, people are going mad. Like Mikel Antonio, if you told me that Antonio was going to get 3 goals and 3 assists in his first 2 league games, I would have slapped you around the face. You know? Because I know how good he can
I think Antonio would have slapped you around the face as well.
I know how good he can
with a cardboard cutout of himself.
Yeah, I was just about to say that with a cardboard cutout. He's hilarious. Antonio. But yeah, because we were at, as I was saying when we were off air, we were at Box Park for the Love Island screening, me and D-Man. and my phone's just notification, sending off.
1 minute. Can you just pause this 2 seconds? Pause what you're saying for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Just repeat what you said. Where were you and what were you doing?
We were at Box Park for the Love Island screening. Yeah. Media, baby. Yeah. Yeah. I supported. I gave a show a promo. Yeah, a Love Island review show, and I was rewarded by Link Up TV. So I've got to go.
Mate,
I've got to go,
mate. Listen, I've heard about going to Box Park to watch England. I've heard about going to Box Park to watch events, but Love Island final.
Business, baby, business.
No. I refuse to accept this. But anyway,
I refuse to accept your 40 points.
Well, I have to accept it. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Well, look, I think, first of all, I'm just disappointed that Tsimikas was my best player with 11 points. I'm disappointed that Target didn't play. So Amati, who was my first player on the bench,
but remember I was saying to you that when the season was started, when you had a new team, that there was issues, I believe I heard, with Target's fitness.
Yeah. So
Young started at fullback for them, didn't he?
Yeah,
and then obviously,
that's right.
As you said, Amati come in and got that. Leicester got slapped.
Well, there you go. Connor Cody got 2 points. I mean, look, I don't expect Wolves to concede loads of goals this season, and they only lost 1-0 to Spurs and they only lost 1-0 to Leicester, but they haven't scored yet. Schmeichel got 1 point because obviously he conceded 4. Salah got on the score sheet, but that was disallowed, so I didn't get any points there. Sancho came off the bench, did fuck all. And you know what? I've come to a point now where I'm going to do what Ash is doing and just give players 3 weeks. And obviously...
that's how I generally work as well.
Sancho's in last chance saloon as far as I'm concerned, because he didn't do enough at Southampton, and United have got... Who is it next? Is it Watford? I don't even know who United have got. I think it's Watford. I don't even fucking know. Who is it? No. Is it Watford? See, I don't even fucking know, man. I'm not even paying attention. Yeah, Wolves away. There you go. Wolves away. So it's going to be... If Sancho plays, which I hope he will start, it's going to be Sancho against who's Wolves left back?
I'm not sure who will play.
No one knows. No one knows.
I know who's there permanently. I think Johnny Otto is injured. So who played it? Because I didn't watch. I had the memorial for my dad on Sunday, so I didn't actually. I had watched bits and pieces of. What was the early game on Sunday? It was your game. Watched pieces of your game, but I didn't catch Wolves and Spurs. Let's have a butchers. That who played at the back for Wolves.
I'll tell you what, why don't we make it easier? Let me just go to this game week and go to Wolves against Spurs.
Marcal played left back.
Okay.
For Wolves.
There you go.
So are you starting Connor Cody this weekend?
I am going to start him, and I'll tell you why, because I'm not going to start Target. He's a load of shit, and he's not going to play. Tsimikas, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Robertson's back, isn't he?
Yeah,
so I can't play Ben White because he's got the Rona. So what options do I have? I can make a substitution. I can make a transfer, and I'm actually thinking of taking out Target and bringing in Tanganga, because he appears to be Tottenham's first choice right back now.
That's how you work it, Uncle. When the season starts, you draft in people, you replenish a few positions, and once you see the pattern that the managers are following, you start to get in people. And obviously, if you realise that there's a bargain that will save you money for when you want to use your wild card, or there might be a week you might want to take a point sit and make more substitutions than your allocated ones, you'll have the money there, the funds there to be able to make some big changes. If you can get some people cheaper that are starting now. For instance, I'm looking at 4 million defenders to get in, because I've got Veltman from Brighton, but
he's injured, isn't he?
He's out. So there's a couple of 4 million people. Well, in the 4.5 region, obviously Tanganga, as you said, there's a couple Burnley players now that they've played, got playing Liverpool out of the way. I might consider getting in. But I'm looking at some 4 million guys. So Shane Duffy, Brighton.
Okay.
Livramento is a midfielder.
Southampton, yep.
But he's midfielder, but he's playing at right back for them. So keeping Carl Walker-Peters out. And Carl Walker-Peters was in my team for like at least 30 of the 38 games.
Yeah, same with me last season. Yeah.
So there's some interesting decisions to make. I'm just keeping an eye because I'm seeing some people are bringing people in terms of defenders. Last week, as I said on here, Chelsea defenders were the main ones getting brought in. So a lot of people brought in Tsimikas, but then after him it was Chalobah and Alonso. Alonso played, but Chalobah didn't. So some people, if you've used an extra, if you took a point sit to get Chalobah in, you would have been very annoyed with that.
Has Tsimikas gone up in value?
Yep.
He's gone up to
twice.
He's 4.2 now.
Yep. And you started at 4 million.
Just started at 4.
Twice.
Okay. Well, so there isn't really much you can do with him, can you? Let's be honest.
Because it's Chelsea, Robertson will start. If it wasn't Chelsea, I don't think Robertson would start again until after the international break. But because it's Chelsea, Robertson will start at left back. And but still, that's not deterred people from bringing in the thousands upon thousands that brought Tsimikas.
Yep. Well, look, I'm going to keep the Leeds boys in because they got Burnley, and we know what happens when Leeds play Burnley. It's always frantic.
Well, last season, what was it? Was it 4-0 last season?
I think Leeds won at home. Was it 1-0 at home?
Yeah, towards the back end of the season, they beat them 4-0 at Turf. At
Turf Moor, yeah.
I'm keeping Rafinha and Bamford in my team. I expect Bamford to score. So yeah,
Bamford got an assist at the weekend. Fernandes is fuck all, but Danny Ings, played against. What's
a goal?
I played against one of your mates. I forget his name, but he had Danny Ings as captain, which obviously got him more points. But in all fairness, going into this weekend, as I said, the weekend just gone. Looking at the fixtures, I thought, I thought I was going to get decent points, and Mason Mount got 6. And he always seems to turn up against Arsenal anyway. Yeah. So I was rather pleased with that. But again, I'm looking at the team and then the weekend's fixtures. Who we got? Well, who are playing? I haven't got any City players. Villa playing Brentford, so I fully expect Danny Ings to get on the score sheet again.
Yeah.
Who else? Which other players? Liverpool, Chelsea. That's the interesting one. I'm contemplating putting Salah as captain because he has great games against Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah.
But then again, as I said, Danny Ings is playing against Brentford. And if Danny Ings gets a couple, I'll be kicking myself if I don't put him as captain. So
we'll see, though, because remember, Brentford are yet to concede.
Yeah, I know, man. But
obviously,
look at they played. Look at they played. Arsenal with no strikers and Crystal Palace with no team.
Ooh, is that a shot at Arsenal?
Okay, tell you look at that Arsenal lineup in the first day of the season. Ask any Arsenal fans, did they think they were going to win? Of course not. They saw the team lineup. They're like, oh, why don't we just get people from the pub to play? There we go. Burnley Leeds, as we just spoke about. Spurs Watford. Now, this is another one. Watford away from home. They took a hiding at Brighton. Defensively, they're a bit shambolic. But Son is out for Spurs, isn't he? He's got a thigh injury. I think so. Unless Premier Injuries is wrong.
Oh, because I had their game on, but then
Here we go. Let's have a look.
Because he came on as a sub, so I'm thinking.
Let's have a look at Mr. Dinnery. What's Mr. Dinnery done? Unless it hasn't been updated. Fuck you. No, it's been updated, so he's back. He was on the list earlier today.
Oh, okay. He came on. No, I was watching it. He came on as a sub.
He was on the list.
So he came on as a sub for them in their win.
I'm looking at Watford to see what players are going to be out for them. No one major apart from Chalobah, but there you go. So I think maybe calling up a Spurs player might help. But then again, as I said, I'm contemplating bringing in Tanganga for target. And I think that's the way to go at the moment because I'm not sure if Tsimikas is going to play. Cody will definitely play. Amati will definitely play. And Tanganga will definitely play. So that is probably going to be my change. Target for Tanganga, bringing Tanganga, swapping for Tsimikas.
Until Vestergaard is fit and Marte, he's going to be playing. Yeah,
there you go. All right, let's switch over to your team, young man. Can you see it? Is it on your screen?
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. So not yet.
Okay. Well, let me try something else. Right. Oh. How about now?
That's my
That is your team.
That is my game week 2 score.
Very good, very good. So you got 66 blood clot points. Look at that. Alexander Arnold with 12.
Man said blood clot, you know.
Yes. Alexander Arnold with 12 points, 12 points. And Jota with 16. Yes.
Jota.
You're pleased with that, aren't you?
I'll take it, but this week I said I was not going to make any transfers. So basically, the aim was, my cunning plan was for my differentials to do something. Mitchell, Palace got a clean sheet, so that worked. Annoying thing was that I actually had Ruben Diaz in my team before the season. He's far from a differential, but I had Ruben Diaz in my team before the season started. And I changed to Cancelo, and Diaz went and got assisted Mahrez's goal in the 5-0 win against Norwich. Obviously, you've already spoken about Salah having the goal disallowed. Screen's got a mad. Screen's in a mad one. Jota. I said I felt Jota would score, and that's why I gave him the captaincy, so that worked. Nothing from Son. Rafinha scored. Nothing from Souček, but they had 10 men, so I'm not going to be too mad at him. Bamford assisted. Ivan Toney went close in the first half and the second half, but he needs to start. He needs to start scoring and assisting, mate. Otherwise, I'm going to have to let go of him earlier than I was expecting. I was looking to give him a 6-game run, but it might not. It might not last that long because there's people cheaper that. Well, first of all, what I made you this week, because I've got the 2 free transfers. I had Deeney in my team. Obviously, you did say he's not playing, and I thought, okay, back in Prem, they're going to go for him with the experience, but new manager and Emmanuel Dennis, who they brought in from Club Bruges, is his favourite choice. He's cheaper than Deeney. I may go to him or Crucial in there. But if I did bring them in, I might not start them. And I don't like bringing people in and not starting them. But I'm thinking in the future in terms of having money in the bank. Possibly. So that's an option there. In defence, as I said, Veltman, so looking at the 4 million defenders. Or I could go, but sometimes when I try to catch people when they want to run, when I do bring them in, it doesn't happen. I could go from Souček to Benrahma.
Okay.
I have nothing in the bank at the moment, but if I make one of my changes and I go lower with a player in terms of budget, in terms of value, then that would give me enough money to get Benrahma in, because he started at 6 million. He's up to 6.2 already. It might be, as this is the last day of price changes, the prices will change at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. I believe it is.
Okay.
He might go up to 6.3 depending on how many people bring him in. So the longer I wait, the more complex it will be to get him in. So I'm considering that though, because Benrahma as well, 2 goals, 2 assists in the first 2 games. I was talking to Ash, who we had on last week, and Benrahma had a good pre-season, which I didn't really know too much about, and that's why he went with him, because I didn't know whether Moyes would play him or not, but he's playing him. Brilliant player, was part of BMW. Obviously, that was him and Boomer, who's still at Brentford, and Watkins when Brentford fluffed promotion the season before last. But Benrahma's doing these things, so there's some decent options. There's decent options about at good value. So I've got some strong. I've got to be strong in my decision making. I'm still undecided, and there's not too long left before the deadline.
Hang about. So if Jota got, say, 2 points, that would take you down to what, 50? 42 points? No, what am I talking about? 52 points.
Yeah, Yeah, because Jota got.
So he still would have killed me, even if Jota got the same points as Fernandes. Even if Jota got the same points as Fernandes.
Yeah, well, Fernandes got booked, which for anyone that captained him, that really didn't help.
No, of course not.
With the fact they got ball. Look, on another day, it's fantasy football, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of luck involved because he played the ball in and Lindelof hit the bar in the first half against Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
And McCarthy made a really good save for Fernandes' head out in the second half. So it could have been, on another day, it could have been different. But that's what I was saying. Remember, I was saying, I predicted 1-1 on our show, on the Footy on Top show. But even here beforehand, I said, I think Southampton will press you lot high, and I think that they can get a point. Because obviously, Ash, you and yourself, obviously, because he's in the team, are thinking more, you know what, he could go and pop off another brace here to follow up his hat-trick. But, yeah, I had confidence in Southampton because they did well against you last season. And if it wasn't for that save by that De Gea made from Armstrong, you not could have lost it.
Yeah, true.
Massive. That was like the old De Gea because I don't know what he's been doing for the last.
Bro, you should see some of the comments in the chat. Fucking hell, like Sentiment FC, man. This guy, I love him to bits. Jesus, let's have a look. He's saying Leicester players Stel, drop United players for Leicester. Ashley is in. He says Benny already 6.2. Who's Benny? Benny who? Benny, who's 6.2? Benny. Ben Rama. Must be Ben Rama.
Yeah, Benny, yeah.
Dubul Dee doing some Rain Man shit on FPL future projections costs. Look at this guy. Rojas is here. Rojas is here.
Big up Rojas, Mr. Newcastle.
I mean, and Ash says he thinks he's top of your league.
Damn. Yeah, he is. We said that at the start, Ash, but I just sent him the link.
Listen, if anyone wants to jump on this podcast right now and start being in the chat, let me know, and I'll put up a Zoom link. I don't know how you guys are going to get in touch with me, but just do it if you want to jump on.
If you send it to me, I can forward it.
I've got a bit of time, man. I've got a bit of time. I can't believe tonight, man. What a night for my team. Jesus.
I thought you were going to be okay. The funny thing is that I was cussing the away goals rule yesterday, but we did the European pod, as I said earlier. Shoot the defence.
Fucking glad we didn't do that. Didn't have away goals.
Yeah, because you don't want to go down in after extra time rather. But
4-2 up from the first leg, and do you know what? Like the first 20 minutes kind of went the way. We're going off on a tangent here, but it kind of went the way I expected, with them playing the ball quicker and moving into spaces and giving us a run for our money, especially down the flanks. But the goal that we conceded, bruv, like goalkeepers hoofed it forward, it's been flicked on, and their man's latched onto it and chipped it over the keeper. It was Route 1 stuff. And the second goal came from our right-hand side, which they got at us every fucking time. The one decent ball they put in the box, there was some guy there making a run from deep, and that was it. It's 7 minutes to go. Do you know what it is, right? It's disappointing, but at the same time, I think our budget is 3 million quid. Their budget was 60.
Do
you know what I mean?
There you go.
But I've had all these fans from other clubs like fucking messaging me, man. My TikTok has gone fucking crazy. I'm being tagged. They're making videos, memes of me. Like I'm just glad that, you know, I can go to Cyprus in October and people are going to recognize me for some of the shit that I've said. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. 2 requests. I know these people. It's fine. Well, no, anyway, so in terms of this week coming, are there any standout players that you believe or you would advise players to put in, especially given some of the fixtures? You know, as I said, if you look at City, Arsenal,
yeah,
you know, are Arsenal going to get something out of this game? I know it's a question that people go, what are we asking that for? Because City are going to pound Arsenal. But then again, they've got to turn it around surely somehow. At least get a point at Man City and, you know, build on it. Then you got Villa against Brentford. I know you said that Brentford haven't conceded a goal yet, but they still play an open game.
Yeah, more than likely they'll concede against Villa. But I'm so angry because.
What about West Ham at Palace?
This is why I was mentioning Ben Rama earlier. I don't know when Palace are going to start winning, and West Ham are playing full of confidence at the moment. I think West Ham will start to drop points. once their Europa League campaign starts, I think they'll start dropping points quite heavily and quite rapidly. But for now, when Europe hasn't kicked in yet, they're just buzzing at the moment. I don't think they're going to keep as many clean sheets as last season, but they're just goals there. You know, Souček can pop up at any time and get a goal. Ben Rama, Bowen, Antonio's loving life at the moment. The thing about West Ham as well, Cresswell scored against Newcastle. Kufal is always putting balls in tasty areas and does get himself decent goal scoring positions as well. And their centre halves can score from set pieces. Ogbonna and Dawson are both going to get like at least 4 league goals this season.
Yeah,
you know, they're real threats on set pieces. So West Ham are a threat.
They are. I agree. And the thing is, all right. I joke about David Moyes and I joke about West Ham in the sense that last season and the back end of the season before when COVID struck, West Ham's home form was absolutely superb.
Yep.
But I said I was joking because West Ham fans weren't in the stadium and there was no one to give the players any shit. Do you know what I mean? But now they're winning games. Now the fans are fully behind the squad. And that London stadium, all of a sudden, is slowly becoming a bit of a fortress. Like Upton Park was a horrible place to go to as a fan, as a player. But that London stadium with rowdy East Londoners having their pie and mash before the games and jelly deals and doing a quick shop at Westfield, you know, they're quite happy going into the stadiums now. It's no longer the Dildo Brothers.
That's what I was going to say. Well, just let them lose a game, and then we'll see if they try and go and attack the Dildo Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that, do you remember when they invaded the pitch?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
They invaded
how
the pitch.
Times change.
Some of the fans tried to climb up to the
the board directors. Yeah.
Yeah. So we shall see. But they're playing with a looseness.
Panache, mate.
They just look like they're going to score.
I still think they got issues defensively though. They haven't.
Yeah, they definitely have. Well, they're trying to get Kurt Zuma, aren't they? So
yeah. I'm
not saying he's definitely the answer, but again, if he was to come, he is a threat from set pieces. He got quite a few goals for Chelsea last season, especially when Lampard was in charge, because Tuchel didn't really fancy him. But there's numerous options. There's big decisions to make in terms of this weekend. As you said, your original question, Kane, but with him being costing so much, that might mean taking a points hit or having to use your wild card already, which I wouldn't advise, but it works for some people. My friend Dan, who's in one of my leagues, used his wild card and got 80-odd points this week because he rearranged everything to get Lukaku in. Lukaku scored and he was his captain. So if you feel heavily that you're not happy with your team, make those changes.
Ben Dinnery uses wild cards. Let me tell you his team. He's got Woodman in goal, Southampton keeper. He's got Trent, Liveramento, Duffy, and Dyer.
Yeah.
Salah, Fernandes, Brownhill, and Bissouma. Yeah. Kane and Lukaku. Yeah. Now, I look at that team and I see Kane and Lukaku are going to smash points. Fernandes, Salah are going to smash points. Trent. But the rest of them, okay, Duffy will definitely get points.
Yeah, Duffy will play. Duffy's another set piece for it. I'm seriously considering getting him into my team.
Yeah. And who've they got this weekend? They've got Everton. See, and this is the other thing, bruv. I was joking with Rodri Giggs. I say joking. I was actually dead serious. Back in the last season when Everton had 4 games to go, they had Burnley, they had Sheffield United, and what's his name? Dominic Calvert-Lewin was on 15 goals. Yeah. And I said, he'll end the season with 20. And I had the 20 quid bet with Rod. And he didn't score. He didn't get any. I think he didn't score in any of the games. Yeah. Did he score against?
Well, he might have scored one. He might have
scored one, yeah.
Because they lost to Burnley. And I predicted that. Because whenever you think, oh my God, if Burnley lose it, they're going to be in real trouble. They always get a result when needed.
And now he's on 2 goals already this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And he started.
He scored a penalty against Leeds, yeah.
That's right. And I'm thinking 7.5 million, wasn't he? Or was he 8? I can't remember.
I think
But there you go. So him, Antonio, 2 bargains. And at the beginning of the season, I was looking at it thinking, which strikers are going to bang goals this season? Yeah. And here you are, like fucking already. But it's a long season, man. You don't know what's going to happen. You got the international break coming.
Yeah.
It's to be honest, now's the wrong if you're Chelsea, if you're Liverpool, if you're West Ham, this is the wrong time for there to be an international break because you've hit that momentum.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, if Liverpool win again at the weekend, if West Ham win again, it's like, fuck, why are we having this break? Which I think it kills the season. And let's not forget, the World Cup is coming next year, isn't it? Next December.
Winter.
That's right, next December. You've also got African nations in January, this January coming.
This is huge for Liverpool because that's Salah and Mane off and Keita.
What about Matip?
No,
Cameroon.
Matip retired.
He's retired, yeah?
There was too much, there's some political behind the scenes nuts that's going on with Cameroon, so Matip retired.
You got Amarty at Leicester and Didi at Leicester.
Yeah.
Iheanacho, that's 3.
Yeah.
Iwobi at Everton.
Yeah.
Mahrez.
Yeah.
Benrahma.
Gambin. Yeah, Benrahma will be off with Algeria. Mahrez will be off.
Salah. You mentioned Salah.
Gambin or Gambin, however you pronounce it.
Partey might even go if he's not injured.
Oh, Liberties, yeah, Partey will be off.
But am I wrong? He spent more time on the physio room than he has playing for Arsenal. He arrived injured. He got injured. He plays injured.
Aubameyang will be off. There's going to be numerous players that are going to be off, and that's going to be a real test for all fantasy managers with what to do. Because if one of those players, their country, get to the final, they could be missing as many as 3 league games because. With the whole isolation and whatnot as well that will come into it, 3 league games. I think there's a cup game around that time as well, so that's not going to affect FPL. But
bruv, actually, Asher said key thing for West Ham is injuries. First 11 is on point. Antonio is so important to them, but those hamstrings go more frequently than Dan's head when we mentioned Bruno.
Yeah, good one, Ash. Good one, Ash. This is the problem, and this is why FPL can be a mouthful, right? I'm thinking, boom, Mitchell did the job for me, clean sheet. Picked Jota as captain. I don't know anyone that bought Jota as captain, so I thought, yeah, my differentials were popping. Rafinha scored. A lot of people sold Rafinha, right? So then I'm thinking, I've got away with Bruno Fernandes not scoring. Every person I know has Luke Shaw, and United haven't kept a clean sheet yet, right? So then I thought, all I need is please do not let Antonio get a goal contribution and he gets 3. So otherwise I would have done the number on so many people in terms of the differential, but it's only kind of half worked because of the amount of points that Antonio stacked up. And I know some people that have got Benrahma as well. So it partially worked. It didn't work to his full potential, but it partly did the job. You know?
There you go. Right. So, shall we talk about any transfers that you're going to make then?
In terms of, there's a possibility of me changing my West Ham guys. So maybe going from Souček to Fornals or especially Benrahma. That's a possibility because Fornals gets an all right amount of points and that's a differential there, right?
Yes.
Defensively, I'll get rid of Veltman because he's not going to be back for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to look for someone cheaper to release funds up.
Yep.
So maybe Livramento, maybe Duffy. I'm looking at some other people. Tanganga's the same price as Veltman, but he's paying for Tottenham at the moment. And the way Nuno sets up, I can see Tottenham getting a decent amount of clean sheets. And as you said, they've got Watford this weekend. If I do something up top, it will be Deeney. I'm going to hang on to Bamford and Tony for the minute because I looked at them when I picked my squad at the start of the season. I looked at the first 3 to 6 fixtures for everyone, so I'm going to leave them in there. But Deeney, as he's not really featuring, I may sell him, and then if I do, it's going to maybe for his teammate Davis, but just someone cheaper to come in for Deeney. That I feel we get enough minutes to do something. So we'll see.
That's a fair point. I mean, I'm looking at, again, the players that I've got, and I don't know if Target is the one anymore. I'll probably take him out. I'm contemplating, as I said, I think Tanganga is going to be the one to come in. I mean, I guess I could pick Stevens at Southampton as well, who's started off pretty well, in all fairness.
Stevens is all right. He's all right. And he can actually, like...
But he picks up bookings though, bruv, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. Good point. He does get a lot of bookings. But that's why I don't pick Connor Cody, because Connor Cody gets a decent amount of bookings as well. But,
do you know who reminds you of? He reminds you of, remember Dawson that played for Spurs?
Michael
Just
Dawson.
like clumsy fucking, you could tell like he goes off at half time and drinks a can of Foster's. That kind of player. So yeah, I think I'm gonna drop. I think I'm gonna take Target out. I mean, I could take out White, but to be fair, he hasn't had any opportunities, has he, Ben White? So
he only played the first game, then got injured. But the only Arsenal, I don't pick Arsenal players, but if I did, the only one I'd consider is Tierney. I'm high on this fullback thing, but then obviously, as I said, West Ham, I've got centre backs that can score. Diaz can score, and you've got assisted Maris on Saturday, as I said earlier. So there's options. It'll be interesting when John Stones is probably back in with him, how many games he's going to start, because there's been rumours that Laporte has asked to leave if he's not
really
a decent amount of game time. So we'll see, because obviously they lost the other Diaz has gone back to no, not Diaz. What's the one? Is it Diaz? What's the guy? Yeah, it's Diaz, isn't it? That's gone to Barca. City to go
Eric Garcia.
That's it, Garcia, not Diaz. Garcia.
Didn't he get sent off the other day against Bilbao?
Garcia's left. So I'm thinking, centre back, that could be an issue for them. We're not going to talk about Mendy in terms of their fullbacks.
No, we're not going to talk about Mendy. But I tell you what, let's talk about one guy who could be joining Man City if we're going to believe reports, and that's Cristiano.
Your goat.
Not my goat. My goat wore the number 10 for Argentina, mate, and it's not the one that is kicking ball for PSG. In fact, one of my goats was a former Man United player that wore the number 4 shirt and didn't do too well in England, but smashed it in Serie A. He's thinking. Another Argentinian midfielder.
Oh, Juan Sebastian.
One of the reasons I got my Che Guevara tattoos, mate.
Oh, see.
One of my favourite players ever.
Ferran was an outstanding player. But the joke was after he didn't work out with you lot, though he had some not great in the league for you lot, but he had some very good Champions League games. I can remember against
Olympiacos.
I remember Juventus, Olympiacos. He had some really good games, but he went to Chelsea. Was it a loan?
No,
United,
12 million.
You sold him.
12 million, yeah.
He was all right at Chelsea before going to...
Scored in his debut at Anfield.
Inter. He showed us. Varane was an outrageous footballer.
Bro, I remember going to Old Trafford, that's when I had my season ticket. You'd have Beckham on one flank and Veron on the other in the warm-up, just pinging balls to each other. And that was just worth paying the entrance fee, honestly, because they were pinpoint. There wasn't a wayward ball played.
When you lot come back from 3-0 down against Tottenham, he was a significant part of that. That
absolute fucking demon, mate. That's a demon.
I hate it when one of my favourite players, regardless of position, goes to Man United. It's like,
if you get the chance, go on YouTube and look for Juventus versus Man United. There's a pre-season friendly in America.
Yeah.
And there's a goal that Van Nistelrooy scored on the volley, but Veron's got the ball on the left-hand side of the box, and with the outside of his boot, he's just played it. It's like a reverse pass. So he's basically facing. So basically, he's square of the penalty box. So he's not facing the penalty box. He's square of it, but he's looked one way and he's played it the outside of his boot to the right, over the top, and Rude has just volleyed it in the top corner. It was just like, are you fucking for real? Are you for real? I mean, there's a goal Beckham scored against Birmingham, and Verona's played him a ball with the outside of his boot. It's just ridiculous. And I'll never forget, we played Fulham. It was at Loftus Road, actually. And I was there with my mate.
What year was that?
2002, I want to say.
At Loftus Road, yeah?
Yes, it was Fulham at Loftus Road. I think we drew 1-0. I think Saha scored for Fulham, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember when it was, what year it was, but Veron was playing. No, it was at Craven Cottage, actually. It was at Craven Cottage. What am I talking about? It was at Craven Cottage. Anyway, Veron's played this ball, right? And even before it reached this point, I said to my mate, that's a great ball. I said, how'd you fucking do you know what I mean? It was just, the guy was just, anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. I'm not gonna go into it. He was just a ridiculous player, which Fergie just couldn't get him to work because he had Butt, he had Keane, he had Scholes, he had fucking hell. I remember he scored against Arsenal as well. And he took his shirt off and put it on the corner flag and lifted it. Anyway, that's another story for another time. But yeah, Cristiano, look, it's all conjecture, it's all rumours. If he joins City, how many people do you think are going to use their wild cards to get him in the fucking team?
It's going to be wild cards galore. He'll discombobulate the system, if Cristiano goes to City, because you know that they make a ridiculous amount of chances anyway. Extra XG freaks will go mad. Their heads will explode. Yeah. Expected goals. So yeah, even I might look to get in on that, because you know how good he's one of the greatest players to play the game, and then feeding him with their supply line from everywhere. I mean, and when I say everywhere, it's everywhere. As Diaz assisted Mahrez's goal. Carl Walker played a couple outstanding passes against Norwich, just behind threading the needle, behind Norwich's centre halves and their fullbacks. So yeah, that will be crazy, his ownership. But it will be interesting because obviously Aubameyang used to be one that was popular when he was a forward, but with him going to be a midfielder now, and because they're wingers, but it's just the way Liverpool play, they're the furthest forward. Mane and Salah are down as midfielders, so therefore Cristiano will come in as a forward. You can't have him and Kane or him and Lukaku unless you have the cheapest backline of all time and one or two budget midfielders. So that will make things really, really interesting. What people do, whether they decide to stick, if he was to come, hypothetically speaking, whether they stick with the likes of the Ingses and Calvert-Lewins and Antonios that are around 7.5, 8 million, or they try and sell some people or get the wild card out to get in Kane. Some people have already used it to get Lukaku in. So it will be, that would be very interesting. And it'll be interesting to see what they price him at, because when you're dealing with one of the greatest players to ever play the game, he has to come in and be the most expensive forward, even more than Kane. He has to be.
Do you know what? It must frustrate all of these what's it called? These FPL enthusiasts that these deals aren't done before the full deadline hits. The deadline when you got to assemble your squad. Because imagine if Cristiano joins City beforehand. Imagine if Lukaku had joined beforehand, and it would have been cushy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But now you got all these people going, fuck's sake, I need to use my wild card to get Cristiano in. And I'm sitting thinking, motherfucker, you still haven't heard the Pep Roulette yet. He's not going to play every game.
But this is the thing. I don't know whether some people actually watch it, because I said Robertson's back fit, but still hundreds of thousands have brought in Tsimikas after game week 2. So I'm like, are people watching the football, analysing, and they checking for press conference and whatnot, or reading up on news, or it's just like, okay, Tsimikas is doing well, get him in, etc. So I don't know. Tsimikas could start possibly, but I think very unlikely. I think Chelsea, there's someone that will be challenging for the title, going full strength at home.
Well, do you fancy Tsimikas' chances against Reece James? I fucking don't.
No, I prefer Robbo to be there. But
there you go.
Tsimikas' delivery. But the thing is that it's in terms of what they could give when it's defenders, it's in terms of what they could give going forward as well as defensively. And Tsimikas' delivery of the ball. You told me this early on, because you were the one that told me you were in for him in the first place, because you'd heard it from a Greek outlet. Tsimikas' delivery is very, very good. Very good. He puts it on the sixpence. Set up. Had a good pre-season, and then his assist for Jota on Saturday, that was just a lovely cross. Jota just literally had to get his head to it, direct it towards goal.
That's it, yeah.
The ball had enough pace on it that it's going to fly in. So in a cup game, he could play. Could use him even further forward in a cup game. You know, maybe go free at the back or something. But obviously that doesn't affect FPL. But just talking in terms of Liverpool in general. But yeah, there's a decision to make there with if Cristiano was to come in.
Well, bro, there's a question from Sentiment. Yeah, he says, would Pep stand for Ronaldo's ego? And before you answer that, here's my answer. He put up with Mendy's behaviour.
But do you remember in one press conference when he kind of lost his cool when they asked him if he knows where Mendy is? And then where he said Mendy was, he wasn't. And then he was like, you get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say necessarily put up with it because when Mendy has been fit, we'll leave him on the bench. But Mendy, anyway.
I knew about Mendy's antics in November. Oh, but in November, because I remember talking to Semps about it.
Yeah.
And he fucking messaged me today. He goes, yeah, you're ITK. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not about being ITK. It's just that I know certain people that know certain things.
Yeah.
And it didn't surprise me when it fucking came out today. So yeah, if
God... The thing is with him is that if you knew when he was going to play, Mendy's a good fantasy player because he's got good delivery into the box. But in terms of him as an actual player outside of FPL, if he hasn't got space to attack, he is a very ordinary footballer. If he hasn't got space to attack. But in terms of FPL wise, if he plays, he's going to get the goals and assists. But
and the thing is about Ronaldo's ego. I mean, okay, I think he knows he's at the back end of his career. I think he knows this is his final big paycheck, and I think he realizes that. Well, you know, Guardiola isn't the kind of manager that's going to play players week in, week out. I mean, Aguero is City's greatest ever goal scorer, and he doesn't play. Didn't play week in, week out. Sterling didn't play week in. Even Mahrez, who had an outstanding back end of the season.
There's rumours that Sterling will be the player they look to sell.
Well, I think that'd be silly. But then again, if he wants to go, and if the club are happy for him to go, then. Whatever. Also, Chris, I think I'm over my cousin Chris, you butter. How will you feel if Ronaldo goes to City? I'll tell you what I told Roberto Rojas earlier. It wouldn't make a lick of difference to me because in the past, Man United players have ended up at City. We saw Schmeichel go there via Aston Villa because he went Sporting. Andy Cole. That's right.
Did Lee Sharp go to Man City?
No, he went to Leeds. John Macken went to City. Fucking Dennis Law went to Man City.
Owen Hargreaves.
Owen Hargreaves, yeah. But Dennis Law went to Man City and we still built a statue. Cool. Yeah? Cristiano Ronaldo, you cannot erase what Cristiano Ronaldo did for Man United. Nope. You can't, you know. And he was our best player for a good... 4 years, I'd say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right, if he goes to City, people talk about tarnishing his legacy, but people move on. You've got these weird Man United fans on social media that think that Ronaldo is still on loan to all these clubs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You've got these weird United fans that are going to be losing the plot because Ronaldo's going to Man City. Listen, footballers, right, don't have loyalty. They shouldn't have loyalty. And I don't understand this notion that a player should only play for one club, or if he plays for one club, he shouldn't go to their City rivals. The fact is, the guy has, as I said, it's probably his last paycheck. He knows that he's going to play Champions League football with Man City, chance to win the league, chance to win the Champions League. I'm not going to begrudge him that. You know, he's given us so many great memories, but I'm going to be angry with him. It's weird, bruv. It's weird. It really is weird, but anyway, whatever.
Tevez.
Yeah, Carlos Tevez, right? This is the thing about Tevez. He didn't want to leave United, right? He didn't want to leave United. What happened was he had Keir Jarabchin as his agent, and people don't realize that United didn't actually own Carlos Tevez. He was actually on loan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what United wanted to do, and this hasn't been made like public to a heavy extent. It's always like, oh, Carlos Tevez didn't want to stay at United because they didn't offer him the money that he wanted. Well, no, United didn't really offer him anything because what United wanted to do were own his image rights. And Kia Jarabchin said, no, we want to own the image rights. And United were like, well, no, we want the image rights. And if you don't give them to us, then you can leave. And they basically forced United's hand. United didn't offer what they wanted. And what's it called? The cards were dealt and Jarabchin won. And he ended up at Man City and he got what he wanted. And he went to Juventus afterwards, I think it was.
Yep.
Carlos Tevez should have stayed. In fact, he left the same summer as Ronaldo. United should have done all they could to keep Tevez, because if they'd have done so, they wouldn't have ended up with Obertan and Michael Owen. But this is Fergie and this is the Glazers. Yeah. That's what it boils down to, man. It's just egos and money. But anyway, whatever.
I'm sure there's some other players that we've one or two other ones, but yeah, we've got some of the main ones out there. But yeah, no, that would be interesting. I'm here for it. That will completely. Obviously, I don't want City to get stronger, but from an FPL perspective, I'm here for it because a lot of people will be hesitant over the decisions. So
Ash said that he relegated us. So you mean Dennis Law? Dennis Law didn't relegate us, and this is another weird story. Dennis Law scored the goal, a back heel, which people say has sent United down. United were already down before he scored that goal, because there was a game that there was another game that had to go in United's favour. I can't remember which game it was, but the team that was meant to lose for United to have any chance of staying up were winning. So regardless of whether Dennis Law scored that goal or not, United still would have gone down. And you can speak to Wayne Barton about that, because he did the book Too Good to Go Down, and they did a documentary about it. And he's put my name in the acknowledgements in the book.
Big.
There you go.
Movements.
Sorry. Yes, that's another bit to extend my penis. Chris said, agree, mate, but City didn't have much of a team back then. City had a good team back then, if I remember rightly. Wasn't Yaya Toure there when Carlos Tevez joined City? Let's have a look. Join City.
Tevez scored.
2009. He joined in 2009. So Man City squad 2009, 2010. And let's debunk this one. Man City had Vincent Kompany. Man City had, come on, Onua Zabaleta, Wright Phillips, Robinho, Roque Santa Cruz. They had Silvinho, Petrov, Lescott, Dunn, Vieira, Adebayor, Kolo Toure, Kompany, De Jong, Bellamy. So they had a decent team. And in fact, that season, where did they finish? They finished 5th that season. So he was a player, part of the stepping stone, part of the process, man. Come on.
Yeah, he had one. He scored a lot of goals for them overall, but he had one outrageous goal scoring season. Didn't he get? Was it 24 league goals? I remember him scored a hat trick away at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Battered Chelsea.
Yeah, that game against, I think that was the game when at full time, the reporter goes to him, you seem to have a knack against scoring against Chelsea. He looked at the screen and goes, hey, I like Chelsea. It was when Hilario was in goal. Was it when Hilario was in goal?
I think he was.
I like Chelsea.
I just remember that was one of the rare occasions where, because I'd been out on the Saturday, I didn't know what the score was, and I watched Match of the Day. And I was like, "What? Watching Match of the Day when you don't know the score is like drugs, isn't it?" It's like, what the hell? What's going on here in my head? So that was all good there. Burnley are meant to be getting Maxwell Cornet.
Oh yeah,
he'd be a decent. He could be a decent FPL guy, like a budget guy to free up space for more premiums. But yes, it's getting now, as you're saying, if all these if the transfer window closed before the FPL season, it's a different thing. But because it doesn't now, there's going to be some there's going to be some decisions to make. You can make and break your season relatively early unless you power through the second part, because if you make a mistake, you're going to be forever taking points deductions, trying to get your team how you want it. So there's some decisions to be made. But I don't pick Chelsea guys, but Lukaku looks like he's going to
Oh, you're gonna say he's gonna worm his way into your team? Yeah, is that what you're gonna say?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he looks like he's going to get points. He's going to stat points. When he starts going to stat points, Werner, Havertz, etc., Ziyech, all these guys running off of him, and then some of the goals aren't going to look pretty, but he's going to bundle them over the line. He's going to get some deflected ones and whatnot. Ones that hit the goalkeeper and go in. They all count. They all still give you the same amount of points. FPL was. So,
True.
Yeah, Lukaku, 11 and a half is a lot of money, but could be worth it. But Kane, man, if you're using your wild card, you might have to go Kane. Back Watford, got 2 today, you might have to go Harry Kane.
Can you imagine how embarrassing that is, man? I'm sorry, like, he says he wants to leave to win trophies, and then he can't move to City, and then he comes out to say, "Oh, I'm fully committed with this team, and I'm staying this summer." And I'm like, "You're staying this summer, so what? You're leaving in January?"
That's what the first thing I thought is that maybe something could be sorted for January, because he said this summer. He never said, he could have just left it as, "I'm staying at Spurs and done."
And he comes on the pitch, for against Wolves, and the fans are singing his name. That's disgusting. You're making me sick, bruv. Like, the whole summer, he's refusing to play. He doesn't turn up for training. He's refusing to play. He's letting his brother do all his dirty work. Charlie Kane doing, his agent, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then fucking, I can't get my move to City, but now I'm committed to Spurs. Fuck off, man. And these Spurs fans are even worse for this, because they should be throwing shit at him, man. They should be throwing shit at him on the pitch.
Look how many goals he scored. He's the one, obviously, Son has had stages when he's been phenomenal, but Kane's the one that's kept these guys relevant. So without his goals, it's kind of like...
Yeah, but bruv, like, what have they done with his goals? He bottled the Champions League final. Yeah, he bottled the cup final, didn't he?
League Cup final.
Yeah.
Fully fit. Yeah, I don't
he
think
bottled 2 semi-finals for England, and a semi-final and the final.
Yeah.
And now he bottled a potential move to the biggest club the biggest move he'll make.
How dare you say he bottled the World Cup final? There's nothing wrong with being a striker.
Semi-final.
No, I'm sorry, the Euro final. How dare you say he bottled the Euro final? There's nothing wrong with being a striker and not touching the ball in the opposition's box for the whole game. Stel, how dare you? There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, he'll get.
Nothing wrong with being pocketed by a central defensive pairing that's the combined age of 76.
95 indeed. 95. Jesus, and one of them scored too. So there you go. When he was on the line.
It's what I understand. Like, do you know what it is? I think he was worried that he'd end up being vilified like Sol Campbell was. That's what I think.
I don't think that is his decision. I think that Levy's just playing hardball, rightfully so. That's your prize asset. He's indispensable. So therefore,
why would he sign a 6-year contract, bruv? And this is the thing,
with no clause in it.
That's what I'm saying. Like Craig Burley hit the nail right on the head on ESPN the other day. If it was yesterday, he says that it was poor negotiation from his agent, whoever it was at the time, because if you're going to sign a 6-year deal, ask for like a release clause.
Yeah. Then there's no problem. Then City meet the release clause and done. But saying that as well, City have to get their priorities sorted out, because if it's a case where they didn't want to pay a certain price for him, then you look at it and you think, well, let's make a decision here. We've already got the likes of Bernardo Silva, etc. in terms of attacking positions. Sterling there. Ferran Torres can play on either flank or can play as a false 9. Use that Greenish money and get Kane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Because we've got Jesus doing up wing now. Though he's done that very well for Brazil for the last couple of years, and then either Firmino's been in the centre or Richarlison's been in the centre, but you'd expect him being like a striker. You can use him down the middle, but he got a couple of assists and that against Norwich. But yeah, he's a key one. It's interesting. Goliath, who obviously is in the head-to-head league with us, he actually captained Jesus. So benefit from that, but the rest of his team didn't really do much. But you'd think you'll get more games. If they don't buy a striker, he has to play a majority of the games. But we have seen City be destructive with no striker. So this is where owning Grealish, Torres has low ownership, so some might look at it as a gamble at 7 million, but owning the Torreses, the Mahrezes, etc., are going to do their thing. And obviously, when De Bruyne is fully fit, you know he's an assist machine. If he's not setting what goals up from free kicks, he's going to set them up from open play because the guy is just phenomenal. So City is high risk, high rewards because you don't know when Pep Roulette's going to strike, but when it does, it can be effective is an understatement.
Yeah, I think the only player that's guaranteed to start for City is the keeper, really.
Yeah, Edison and Diaz, I'd say, are the only two definitely started. When De Bruyne is fit, it will be him as well. But obviously, with him having fitness issues at the moment,
he's been going through these issues for numerous months now.
Because people kick him.
Yeah, but it's got to be a concern because he arrived at the Euros injured. Didn't he pull up at the Euros as well at one point? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he got the Euros injured because Finn took him out, didn't he? Rudiger did it. Rudiger with some shithousery. That was. And I don't even know if he got booked for that. Took him out and knew exactly what he was doing. Rudiger is a target because he's a quality player.
Yeah. Quality. Yeah. Anyway, is there anything else you'd like to touch on? Anything else?
No, not really. We've went through the fixtures, didn't we? So dual position guys, they're the key. As I said, I might get Livramento in because he's a midfielder, but he's been used at right back by Southampton. Ashley Young is going to play fullback. And
did you just say young Ashley Young?
Yeah,
well, like old Ashley Young right now, right?
Ashley Young. So there's various things, but look, I've got 2 transfers. I've got to decide what I'm doing within the next 24 hours to be realistic. But like it is, I will sell Deeney and Veltman. Veltman's almost definite. So it's either sell Deeney and Veltman.
Well, Livramento's 4 million, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm looking around the 4 million, so it's out of Livramento and Duffy.
Yeah, I think he's worth a punt, to be honest. I think I might put him in for himself. Target.
But no, in my luck, I'll put Livramento into my team, and then Jan Valery will start at right back for Southampton on the weekend. That's just a kind of luck. Or actually, not even Jan Valery. Walker Peters will come back. So because Southampton went ham in their cup game yesterday, Walker Peters started at left back, I think, and Valery started right back. So either one of them two could come in if he decides. Because Livramento's young, so he can't play him in every single game.
No, of course not.
So Duffy. We'll see.
All right. Okay. Well, that is it for another edition of FPL War. Who have you got at the weekend, by the way? Who are you playing against?
Josh. I'm playing Josh. Okay. Josh Smith, man, like what's his name? Josh J on the Twitter. My Tottenham homie.
Okay.
Good guy, man. Good guy.
How do I find out who I'm playing? Justice League.
I hope you're playing
Game week 3. Oh God.
We have to get D-Man on soon. I told him on Saturday. I told him on Saturday that you got it in for him.
I'm playing Andrew Simpson.
He won the first head-to-head league I did. Andrew, that's my schoolmate. I used to go to school with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's got a decent track record. So anyway. All right. Go on. Wrap it up, my friend. Give us your Twitter handles, etc., etc.
Handles at Dubul Dee. That's DUBULDEE. That's on all social media. If you want to see my ugly face on Instagram as well. And I am part of the D&D Football Factory, and we go live with our radio show on a Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on Top FM, 95.5 FM in London, but you can listen to it anywhere around the world on the TuneIn app or the Simple Radio app, probably the best thing to do to get the best reception. And on the socials, we are at DD Footy Factory _.
Superb. There we go. Another edition. We'll be back. This time.
You're not done yet, mate. Shoot the Defence Network has new podcasts.
Okay. Well, yeah. Shoot the Defence Network. We've got another new podcast. We've got Sempre Inter, which is Nima Tavali's one, an Inter Milan podcast. We've got Dinamo Abroad, which is a Dinamo Kiev fan podcast, which I'm really excited to listen to because they really put in a shift. Dinamo abroad, absolutely brilliant. And there's more and more to come. The Shoot Defense Network is growing. It's quite fun, to be honest, because you open that app, whether it be Amazon, whether it be iTunes, whether it be Spotify, and you got a whole host of podcasts. You can't run out of content. It's all there. It's all there for you, whether it be Cypriot football, Greek football, Ukrainian football, Estonian football, Hungarian football, UND, D-man talking about football. It's just, and it's fun. It's great. And it's free. So you don't have to pay for it. We don't have a Patreon for that. It's free content, for fuck's sake.
Free content.
So subscribe on iTunes, leave a review, give us 5 stars. And if you don't, I'm coming to your house and
exactly. If you don't,
opening your fridge and drinking the last bit of your milk.
If you don't, you're a very bad person.
There you go. There you go. On Twitter, it's @ShootDefense. So until next